UFC Fight Night Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira is on Saturday night. It is the first fight night under the new Paramount deal. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. My prediction is that it's going to be like every other fight night we've had previous, except maybe with more ads. But I don't think it'll affect me all that much because I'm in the UK and we don't have a Paramount deal. So yeah. Oh well. Um, let's get right into it. First fight of the night: Priscilla Cachoeira versus Claudia Segura. I'm going to say it now. There's quite a few women's fights on this card. Lots of opportunities to go for a PP or a poo poo if that's your vibe. I want to avoid swearing because we're not even a minute in yet. But yeah, Priscilla Cachoeira versus Claudia Segura. I don't rate Priscilla Cachoeira that highly, to be honest with you. I picked her to get knocked out by Jocelyn Edwards. She got Jocelyn Edwarded, if you will. But yeah, I don't rate her that highly, to be honest with you. I don't think she's going to get finished by Claudia Segura. I do think Segura's going to be better with the hands. I think the kickboxing of Claudia Segura is going to be a little bit better than Cachoeira's. I think Cachoeira's probably going to have a mild advantage, maybe in the grappling, just being physically bigger and stronger. But I don't think it's going to be enough for it to kind of manhandle Segura. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to be enough for it to manhandle Segura and kind of change the pace of the fight that way. So I'm going to go with Segura by decision. But at the end of the day, who cares? It's a women's fight, and WMMA is irritating. Ewan Gafarov versus Jacob Wichlax. I lean towards Wichlax. Hard to say these Polish names. He's a Pole, right? I'm not just saying that wrong. I think he's a Pole. Hopefully. Yeah, Wichlax. Anyway, I'm leaning towards Wichlax. I think Gafarov isn't terrible, but he seems to have these tough matchups where he loses in the tougher matchup, is what I'm trying to say. He loses in these tougher matchups. Jacob Wichlax, he beat Patchy Mix, and it was a decision. It was a split decision win over Patchy Mix. I know it's contested. People think Patchy managed to win that one, and he got robbed by the scoring. But Patchy Mix is gone now. Patchy Mix is gone, and Jacob Wichlax remains, and that's all that matters. I'm leaning towards Wichlax. I'm leaning towards it. I think it's going to be another decision though. So yeah, we're going to go with Jacob Wichlax by decision over Ewan Gafarov. Fairly confidently. On to the next one. Kong Wang versus Eduardo Morda. I want to go with Kong Wang. I'm liking Kong Wang for this one. We'll take a little bit of a deeper look into the previous fights. So neither is really a slouch, but it's another fucking Ronda. But yeah, decent win on the Contender Series. Decent first fight in the UFC. Lost to Denise Gomez. Fair enough. Denise Gomez can drag it out to a decision, and it was a split decision. Veronica Hardy, decision. Lauren Murphy, decision. Not a bad resume, to be fair, in women's MMA inside of UFC anyway. Decent win over Lipsky da Silva for Kong Wang. Decent win over Bruna Brazil. It's an alright win. Like, it's women's MMA. What do you want me to say, guys? What do you want me to say? Did get finished, though. By Gabriela Fernandez. So, I mean, how good is Eduardo Morda's, submission game, grappling game? I don't know. I lead to Kong Wang. I lead towards Kong Wang. I am thinking a decision. I don't think Kong Wang is going to knock Eduardo Morda out. Like, I don't think she's going to knock her out. I think Kong Wang by a decision. But I could see it being a close fight. I'm just leaning towards Kong Wang. I like the determination, I'm just leaning towards Asian fighters again because I like the Asian market, aren't I? Whatever. We're going with Kong Wang by a decision over Eduardo Morda. Next up, Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Javid Basharat. I lean towards Saeed Nurmagomedov. I don't particularly enjoy the style of either of these fighters. They are good. They're decent. They're not, 35 and 48. They both got losses. I think they're both on a 2-fight skid off the top of my head. Both on a 2-fight skid. Ayman Zahabi and Ricky Simone knocked out. Oof, and Ricky Simone knocked out Javid Basharat. Yeah, Ricky Simone can knock dudes out though. Ricky Simone is a guy who isn't like particularly amazing either. Like he's good. He's obviously they're in the UFC. They're all good. When I say particularly amazing, I'm talking comparatively within the UFC. Ricky Simone isn't bad at all. Ricky Simone is interesting because he's got decent footwork and he has power to knock people out. Like he's got power in his hands. But that's kind of it, and it gets him far. Don't get me wrong, it gets him far. He's got decent sprawls and stuff too. But you know, if you let him plant his feet and swing, Ricky Simone can put anybody out, put anyone out in bantamweight if you present him the opportunity, he can put anyone out. So yeah, he got caught by Ricky Simone, but not unreasonable. Saeed Nurmagomedov lost to Bryce Mitchell. We picked Bryce Mitchell to beat Saeed Nurmagomedov in this fight. I do recall. I lost to Vinicius Oliveira, who is headlining this card, isn't the worst in the world either. Jonathan Martinez managed to win a decision over him also. Yeah. I mean, I still lean towards Saeed Nurmagomedov. I don't think it's going to be a situation where Saeed's going to knock him out or get a submission, but I can see Saeed just kind of controlling the fight in that kind of Dagestani, you know, grappling way where we just kind of hold them down for 15 minutes. I could see that happening to Javid Basharat. So yeah, we're going to go with Saeed Nurmagomedov by a decision. I think he's going to just control the fight with his grappling and just kind of be pressure heavy and whatnot. The typical style we've come to expect from these Dagestani guys, from these Caucasus region fellas, if you will. But yeah, so we're gonna go with Saeed by decision over Javid Basharat. And on to the next one. Bruna Brazil versus Ketlin Souza. Another women's fight. Again, hard to really care that much, if I'm honest with you. Ketlin Souza lost to Angela Hill in a split decision. Close fight, contested fight. Who really cares? Again, another split decision. We're eking them out. We're eking them out. We're by the skin of our teeth, Souza. Yeah, you know, I have to lean towards Bruna Brazil. She did beat the Queen of Liverpool, Molly McCann, in that one time. I win over Ming Shi isn't that bad. A decent talent is Ming Shi. So we're gonna go with Bruna Brazil for this one. Yeah, Tapology agrees with me, to be fair. I'm thinking a decision, if we're being honest. Hello, dog. Sit. Good boy. Stay. He's not gonna stay. He's ignorant. But yeah, we're going to go with Bruna Brazil over Ketlin Souza. I think it's going to be a decision, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think it's going to be a decision for Bruna Brazil over Ketlin Souza. I think Ketlin Souza's been flying by the crotch of her pants, by the seat of her pants, is that the saying? I don't know. By the skin of her teeth, she's been eking out these decisions. I think Bruna Brazil is going to make it clear enough and probably win a unanimous decision over Ketlin Souza. On to the next one. We've got Nikolai Veretennikov versus Nico Price. Interesting matchup. Going to be fun to see. Obviously, both guys aren't amazing. Take a look at the records. The last 5 fights aren't incredible. As you can see, lots of red blips on those records. But both guys can be entertaining to watch fight. And I do think it's a tough one. I struggle between the two. I could see it being a pretty decent back and forth fight. These guys can be entertaining. And I think it's a decent little matchup between the two, to be honest with you. I struggle to pick one. I lean towards... It's a tough one. It is a tough one. I do lean towards Veretennikov, I'll be honest with you. I do lean towards Veretennikov, but I don't know. Man. It's a tough one, it really is. It's a tough one to call. I'm thinking Veretennikov. I mean, am I though? And hopefully it's a scrap at least. Hopefully it's a scrap at least. I mean, Tapology agrees, Veretenikov. I don't know if we're going to get a finish out of them, if I'm honest with you. I don't know if we're going to get a finish out of them. I know, so last card I predicted a bunch of finishes, and it was all decisions. But this time I'm thinking this is going to be a lot of decisions. I don't know. I don't know. I do think if it comes down to a finish, I think Veretenikov is more likely to finish Nico Price than the other way around. But I don't know if we're going to get a finish out of this fight. I really don't know if we're going to get a finish out of this fight. I could see it being another decision. I could see it being a close decision. I could see it. I think it's going to go to Veretenikov, though. I do think it's going to go to Veretenikov. It seems like I've been consistent with agreeing with Tapology again. Hopefully, as we go forward, that changes a little bit. I hate being synced up with Tapology. It never goes. When I find that when my picks line up with Tapologies, they're not the best picks. So I'm letting you know now. I'm letting you know now. Okay, this is your gambling advice. Don't listen to a fucking word I say if you're a gambler. But do actually sometimes listen to what I say if you're a gambler, because I'm actually not that bad. But even so, don't put your house on it. Gambling's not. Gamble responsibly. Oh God. Next up, Alex Morono versus Denali Donchenko, if I could speak. Denali Donchenko. We'll take a look at the records. I'm not super familiar with Donchenko. That's because he's brand new. Okay, he's a brand spanker. I imagine that I picked against him in this fight. I don't remember off the top of my head. Alex Morono on an absolute horrific loss streak. Lost three in a row. Did manage to bounce back against Court McGee. Was that Court McGee's retirement fight? I think that might have been Court McGee's retirement fight. So, you know, I don't think he's going to get it done. I'll be honest with you. I really don't think he's going to get it done. I mean, he's a big underdog right there. Big underdog. Well, maybe it'd be worth it. Yeah, remember I said don't take my betting advice? Maybe it's worth it for the odds. Because I mean, okay, so he lost to Carlos Leal. Fair enough. Carlos Leal's got power. That's not shocking. Lost to D-Rod. Okay, I definitely picked D-Rod to beat him. Definitely 100% picked D-Rod to beat him. D-Rod's a bit of a weight bully though. Let's be honest. So, and it was a split decision. Could have gone either way. To be fair, could have gone either way, but I did pick D-Rod. Maybe there was talk of a robbery. Probably was. There always is. Lost to Nico Price in a unanimous decision. Nico Price is fairly decent as well. And decent at winning the decision. Obviously beat Court McGee. Court McGee, I'm fairly sure, retired after this fight. And then he lost to Joaquin Buckley, which Joaquin Buckley, fairly decent, was fairly decent. He's only gotten better. It's a loss that's aged well, if you will. Do I think there's a chance for him to win? Not really. You know what? I say that, but if we're going on experience, then maybe, to be fair. Maybe. Because Alex Morono's lost as many fights as Denali's won, you know? And that wealth, that's still experience, okay? That's still experience, that still matters. And I could see it. I could see an upset, to be honest with you. And Tapology is so confident in this knockout. Like, is he knocking everyone out? Not really. He wasn't knocking everyone out in his previous promotion. I don't know. I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna be a little bit crazy, and I think I'm gonna lean towards Alex Morono. I think Alex Morono can probably get a decision over this guy. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go with Morono by a decision. I know that's a little bit crazy considering how wide the odds are stacked against him. But if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I think people are disregarding the experience of Morono, and his losses recently haven't been. They've not been against terrible caliber of opponents. Like they've been against. He's lost in a reasonable way to guys who you would expect him to lose that way to. You know, it's not like he got chinned by, I don't even know. You know, it's not like that. He lost. He's not a terrible fighter, is what I'm trying to say. I feel like the odds are too against him, if you will. I feel like he could actually get the upset here. So I'm gonna go with Alex Morono against my better judgment for a decision. Um, but we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see. Next up, we've got uh, Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker. I lean towards Dustin Jacoby, to be honest with you. Juice box. Yeah, I mean, both guys again, not terrible. Chin by Dominic Reyes. Lost the split decision to Alonzo Mansfield. I lean towards Julius Walker then. I'm gonna go with Julius Walker. I could see I could see Julius Walker winning this one. And he's the underdog again, so I'm going with two underdogs back to back. Yeah, I'll go with Julius Walker. Why not? Why not? Should we really quickly? Should we find? I was thinking, you know, if Dominic Reyes could do it, nah, I could see this being actually a decent little scrap then. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Julius Walker to get it done. I think Julius Walker by a TKO, I think ground and pound TKO. I know that's a little bit far fetched, but so is Alex Morono by decision, and we still went with that. So yeah, I'm just having fun with it, I guess. I don't know. Who cares? Next up, G Matsumoto versus Farid Basharat. Farid pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Bit boring, a little bit boring, but he's pretty good. You know, he likes to circle a lot. Can turn into a little bit of a game of tag. Matsumoto's not terrible either. I do lean towards Farid Basharat. I do think he could probably get this done. I think it is likely going to be a decision. I just think footwork wise, evasiveness wise, defensive wise, Farid Basharat is going to get it done. I think, yeah, I think Farid Basharat's pretty good, to be fair. I don't like his style. I don't like how much he runs and how much he circles out, but I do think he's pretty good. So I think he probably gets it done over Gene Matsumoto. I could see it going, yeah. Farid Basharat by decision over Gene Matsumoto. I could see Matsumoto trying harder to get a finish or trying harder to make a statement in each round, but Farid using that and just kind of circling away and punishing him with like peppering him up, you know. I could see that being the case. And I could see Matsumoto trying to walk him down and cut off the cage, and Farid just being able to slip away every single time. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Farid. I'm gonna go with Farid Basharat by the decision over Gene Matsumoto. He's the favourite as well, to be fair. So I don't think I'm too off base with that one. He's 14-0. You know, you got, as much as I don't like his style, you got to give the credit where it's due. You know, 5-0 inside of the UFC. Got to give it to him. Got to give credit where it's due. So we're going to go with Farid Basharat, likely by a decision over Gene Matsumoto. Probably going to be a little bit more of a boring, bit more of a slow-paced fight. You know, if you're one of those people that's like, oh, yeah, it's a technical masterclass, then you know, really a chess match of a fight, then you know, it's going to be your kind of fight. But we're going to go with Farid Basharat by boring decision. Oh, what a fucking name, these Poles, man. Michael Oleksiejczuk. Oleksiy Zhenchuk. Michael Oleksiejczuk. Whatever. Versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Tough one. Tough one for me to pick. Both guys a little bit stinky, we're not going to lie. Marc-Andre Barriault losing to Chris Curtis, not that bad, to be honest with you. Chin by Joe Pyfer, also not that bad, to be honest with you. Chin by Stolfoltz, not as... I suppose it's not that bad, to be fair. Chin by Bruno Silva. Oh, sorry, Chin Bruno Silva. That's not bad at all. It's pretty decent, to be fair. And then lost to Shara Bullet in a decision. At least he didn't get Chin by Shara. Lost to Kevin Holland. Oh. Yeah, that's kind of reasonable as too as the Kevin Hollands. Lost to Shara as well. But has bounced back over Sadiq Domas and Gerald Mearshart. Who is retired now, right? I'm going to go with Marc-Andre Barriault. I don't think Oleksiejczuk all the gen shit. So hang on a minute. So we lost to Michelle Pereira, fair enough. We lost to Kevin Holland, fair enough. We lost to Shara Bullet, fair enough. Our bounce back fight was Cedric Dumas that we won by a TKO ground and pound. Cedric Dumas is fucking awful. Awful. Trash fighter. So, may as well just not have happened. May as well not have occurred. And then he beat Gerald Meerschaert. An aging Gerald Meerschaert. No, fuck this shit. We're going with Marc-Andre Barriault to get the win. I'm thinking he chins him. I'll be honest. I'm thinking Marc-Andre Barriault chins him. On to the next one. Sorry about that. I am back. Had to attend to the boy. Stay. I believe we were on to Jet Almeida versus Rizvan Kuniev. Jet Almeida lost to Volkov. Volkov, in my opinion, a dark horse in the division, if you will. Beat Spivak, decent win. Beat Romanov, an okay win, to be fair. Lost to Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades is fairly decent, though, to be fair. And beat Derek Lewis via decision. Fair enough, Derek Lewis can catch you and put you out if you not care. If you let your guard down, Derek can put you out. But yeah. Oh my. What a record from Kuniev. And then loses a split decision to Blades. I mean, at least he didn't get chinned by Blades. Is the thing, and that was more recently. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rizvan Kuniev. Yeah, but Rizvan Kuniev, how? Because it's not like Jet Almeida's really getting finished all that often. Tough one. I don't know. That is a tough one, isn't it? I'm gonna go with. I don't know. I'm stumped. Ladies and gentlemen, I am stumped. I'm gonna switch up. I'm gonna go with Jet Almeida. I think these two are gonna trade. I think there's gonna be an exchange of blows at some point, and I feel like Almeida's gonna manage to get the win through that. I think this is heavyweight, so they're all trash, right? They're all fairly poo-poo stinky. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jet Almeida over Rizvan Kuniev. I think Almeida's more likely to get a finish, more likely to hurt Kuniev. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jet Almeida. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna go with Almeida over Rizvan Kuniev. But I think it's going to be a decision, right? I think it's going to be a decision. I think Gelton's going to be able to hurt him, but I don't think he's going to get the finish. I think he's probably going to hurt him in round 2, and that will steal the momentum completely of the fight for Almeida, and Kuniev's going to be on the back foot from that point on. But I don't think Almeida's going to get the finish. I don't think Almeida will get the finish. So yeah, I'm going to go with Jet Almeida by a decision over Rizvan Kuniev at heavyweight. Co-main event time. Amir Albazi versus Horiguchi. Koijo. I can't say his first name. Horiguchi. I'm leaning towards Horiguchi. I'm biased. I'm biased towards the Asian talent pool. I'm biased towards the Asian talent pool, especially the Japanese fighters. I love how they grapple. I love how they scramble. I love the scramble heavy grappling. I enjoy the boxing. I do. I enjoy the stand up. I do think they will happily eat far too many shots, but that is also very entertaining. I think a lot of these guys end up losing their chin in the gym because they hard spar quite a lot. But yeah, especially the Japanese and the Koreans especially will hard spar a lot, and I think that is a detriment to their chins. But also, if you get them in that period of time where they're really good because of all this hard sparring and their chin isn't gone yet, they're very good. Horiguchi, I think he's going to be able to get it done. To be honest with you, I think his grappling is going to be enough to carry him through it, as well as being tough and being able to go toe to toe, even if he's less skilled, like the toughness will carry them through. It's kind of like the Mexican style, where even if the Mexican fighter isn't as skilled technically in the stand up, like isn't as technically skilled in the stand up, they can tough out a lot of the damage. They can tough out a lot of the exchanges and then still come out on top just through raw power and determination of walking through shots. And I do think the Japanese and the Korean fighters have that similar mentality. So I could see Horiguchi just walking through a bunch of shots to take down Albazi. So yeah, and it's worth mentioning Morono, very similar in style to a Horiguchi, where they will just kind of attack with pressure. They will kind of apply pressure and then try and work to a position where it's more favourable. And I do think, unless Albazi has learned from having that done to him by Brandon Morono, I don't think he'll be able to hold off the onslaught of the Horiguchi. So yeah, we're going to go with Horiguchi. Probably going to be a decision. I think there's going to be a lot of decisions on this card. I really do. I think there's going to be a lot of decisions. I think even Jailton Almeida, Rizvan Kuniev is going to go to a decision. But I think it's by design. I really do. I think they gave us two fairly decent numbered events on Paramount, and now they're giving us, they've got to give the rest of the guys fights, so they've just kind of thrown them on a fight night. It's kind of how it feels. Oh, there was like barely any women. Was there any women's fights in the last two numbered cards? And then we've got 3 women's fights on this fight night. It feels like they just we'll save them, we'll hold them back and put them on the first fight night. Main event time. Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira. I lean towards Oliveira, to be honest with you, simply just because he's been getting it done as of recent. He's really been getting it done. And I would normally. That's what I mean. Like, we haven't got Vinicius against someone like an Umar, We haven't got that. And, we're going to get something good with a Mario Bautista. Mario Bautista's really good. Mario Bautista can throw hands. He's got okay grappling. Well, I say okay. He's got decent grappling as well. I suppose the real question is this too much of a jump up for Vinicius Oliveira too soon? Maybe. I think so. To be honest with you, I do think it's going to be too much too soon for Vinicius Oliveira. I think Mario Bautista should fairly easily be able to control the fight. Do I think it's going to go to a finish? Probably not. I mean, if we look at the records of these guys do tend to go to decisions a fair bit, especially as we start as the fighters improve and as we get better and better. They make less mistakes, and therefore we get less finishes, especially in the lighter divisions where there isn't as much of a power factor in these divisions. It's harder to land them a solid knockout shot because everyone's so fast and twitchy, and everyone's always moving. You throw a shot and they're usually moving away from it, so it's hard to get a finish knockout wise in these smaller divisions. I don't think Vinicius Oliveira is ready yet. I think this is the fight he should lose and then come back from, if that makes sense. Like, I know a lot of fighters get sheltered and they never have that fight. Like, Sean O'Malley jumps to mind, where Sean O'Malley was kind of sheltered quite a bit, and then he never really learned to deal with somebody who's going to put him through absolute adversity like a Marab, because he never had to. Like, he never fought anyone that was going to put him through absolute adversity like a Marab. And even if you get put through that kind of situation and you lose, it doesn't mean you're going to come back and beat that guy. But you could learn from that and you could beat a lesser, So Mario Bautista loses to an Umar Nurmagomedov. That's something Mario Bautista can bounce back from, and he can be like, right, I can see on paper, I can see on tape. Shout out Anthony Smith. But I can see on paper, that what I've done wrong. I can see in the tape what I've done wrong. I can improve that going forward in my next fights. Whereas it doesn't seem like Vinicius Oliveira has really been faced with that kind of opponent yet. And I'm not saying he's been looked after. I don't think he's been sheltered or anything. He's fought some pretty decent caliber opponents. You know, got a win over Saeed, got a win over Ricky Simone. Again, Ricky Simone isn't someone to be scoffed at. I know Ricky Simone gets a little bit of shit. Like he's unproven so far, and he is a little bit unproven so far. But he's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, not at all. And like I said, he's got decent footwork, and if he can plant his feet, he will put you out. Especially that's a good skill to have in these smaller divisions. Is if he can catch you, he will put you out. And Vinicius, you know, has finishes. He has had finishes. I just think once we get to this level, it's a lot harder to find those openings or to create those openings. And I'm kind of leaning towards a Mario Bautista decision, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's going to go to a decision. I think Mario Bautista is not going to get finished by Vinicius Oliveira. I think he's going to control the pace of the fight, make it his fight, and I think he's going to get the win. So yeah, we're going to go with Mario Bautista by a decision over Vinicius Oliveira. A lot of decisions on this card, but I do think, again, this is by design. I think, and then we've got a week off right after this. So I think this is by design. I think this is just all the guys that were a little bit less entertaining all got slapped on this fight night card instead. Nonetheless, that does conclude this prediction video. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe for more. Leave us a like down below if you can be fucked, you know. Subscribe, pretty please. Nearly 1,000 would be helpful. If you even made it this far into the video, people don't really get past like the first 10 minutes. Very rarely do they get past the first 10 minutes. I digress. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, keep your chin down and keep swinging. Peace and love. I'll see you around.